Well, the last time this pair faced each other was in the Saudi Smash in Jeddah in 2004. So they've got some recent form. 2024 rather. They weren't playing each other 21 years ago. That would be really quite incredible. Sitting alongside me for this one, Adam Barbaro. Adam, we were talking before we came on air, and this is one that we're really looking forward to. We'll have a chat just after the coin toss.
Well, now that the coin toss is done, it's time for some chatting. The talk of the town. Wang CHUQIN and Simone GAUZY both to meet here today. There's been so much conversation about both of them. Wang CHUQIN, interestingly enough, when Simone GAUZY was asked who he would pick to win this event, Wang CHUQIN or Lin Shidong, he said neither. And it wasn't because he was facing Wang CHUQIN. He said because Ugo and Felix are too strong. But if I had to choose, I would choose this man here, Wang CHUQIN, which is quite a statement because they're facing each other. Nandan Naresh, not a game. You saw the rest after that. And looking back here at the 2025 Doha men's singles, it was Wang Chunting not so long ago. This is the round of 32, the last match against Wang Chunting, the penhold sensation from Team Hong Kong, China. Wang CHUQIN showing very strong form here.
Absolutely, yet to drop a game all week in Doha. He's been in blistering form. Simone GAUZY has had a very different route to this round of 16. He's had some really tricky encounters, but crucially, he's here in the last 16 and he'll be feeling really confident, the world number 43, based off the results that he's had to get through to this stage. We'll have a little look at the draw. There it is. A very, very tough match against Anders Lind, coming through that one in 7. He had a great win over Lin Gaoyan to reach this stage, and we can have a look at that match there. We join this in the 6th game rather. Simone GAUZY causing an upset against the Chinese 16th seed. It's always an upset when someone knocks out a Chinese player. And Simone GAUZY did just that, getting through in 6 games. Really impressive stuff, Adam.
Yeah, I went back to watch both his match against Anders and against Lin Gaoyuan. We'll talk about that in a bit. Just under 3/4 of the fan vote. Wang CHUQIN. Cast your votes at worldtabletennis.com.
Simone GAUZY to serve. La ball.
Or on the WTT app. A lot to talk about here. We've got some time. It's a best of 7.
1 love.
Very different routes through to this last 16, as we talked about, Adam. And will tiredness, will fatigue be a factor for GAUZY, do you think, after those 2 long matches he had prior to this one?
No, I don't think so. Enough time has passed. I mean, these athletes, a lot of them, especially Simone GAUZY, grew up through the generation where you might have 3 matches in a day. He's in wonderful shape. You can look at the legs on him. He gets behind the table, runs all over the court. The interesting thing for me is Anders Lind was the star of 2023, the most surprising sort of groundbreaking player in that event in Durban. Basically this event, but 2 years prior. And Simone came back after being beaten 11-3 to win the next 2 games at deuce. It was a high deuce, 15-13 in the decider. 1 left-hander. Then after that, a left-hander from China, who's a little bit more similar to Wang CHUQIN in that way, to get through and eliminate Lin Gaoyuan.
Yeah, he's had a wonderful run this week, saving 2 match points against Lind and Anders Lind. And then, yes, that epic round of 32 that none of us really saw coming, did we? Superb shot placement from Simone GAUZY, getting off to a blistering fast start here.
Yeah, nice little strawberry first and then the wide forehand. Last time they played, the last 2 games they played were decided by the difference of 2 points. So while it was 3-0 for Wang CHUQIN, they were very tight. And Simone GAUZY, you'd have to imagine, is as confident as ever. This is such a nasty shot. He jabs at it, almost like a chop block and a push combined. Just anything creative to keep it uncomfortable. Give Wang CHUQIN something he's unlikely to have practiced against. What a combination.
6-2.
Again, heavy under and side spin here. The strawberry opening and then a ripping backhand. He's going to play like he's got nothing to lose, and frankly, that's how he's been playing this whole event, and it's working for him. There's the shot, inside out and out of reach. Wang CHUQIN, after a long rally, finding a space on the table to put it past. It's not easy to get it past Simon GAUZY. Steps around, inside out, full stroke. Just margins there as he extends the racket to the fingertips, keeping that hand cool. Wang CHUQIN's got a job to do, but 3 up, the man with the serves.
4-6.
If you were watching Simon after his win against Lin Gaoyuan and you saw him do the pose with the thumb to the forehead, the Mbappe, it was for his son. His son loves the footballer.
4-7.
GAUZY has spoken openly, hasn't he, about his family life, about his children, and how he balances family time with all this table tennis, training, time on the road, time away from family. It's certainly not easy, but of course his kids will be so proud watching him, won't they?
Timeo's growing up quickly. Doesn't miss the line by much here. Good placement. Wang CHUQIN has many a fan in the stadium right now, from the towels and the posters. I'd be very curious. We've seen already some Chinese players knocked out here today, from Shi Xuanyao to the men's doubles pair of Lin Gaoyuan and Lin Shidong. Oh, fearless backhand in the counter rally. Both wings right now. Simon GAUZY's going explosive, and I think he knows that he can always rest on his defensive game if he needs, but he's staying counterattack. He's staying positive even from behind.
6-8.
Good agility there. Perfect placement from Wang CHUQIN to force Simon GAUZY into an uncomfortable stance.
Well, that's a really disappointing point for Wang CHUQIN. He certainly looked as though he had the beating of GAUZY in that, and GAUZY did so well from back behind the table.
Yeah, Simon GAUZY needs it more than the other way around. You could imagine a comeback the other way. Simon GAUZY's backhand is one of the trickiest and spinniest in the world. Sounds like a weird thing to say, but I've spoken to statisticians who've monitored his backhand, and I've played against it. He generates more revolutions per second than most pros in the world, and playing against world number 2, that's coming in handy so far. Oh, what a shot to finish. He handles the snake, the drop shot. Wang CHUQIN playing so focused right now. Against Simon, you really have to. Simon demonstrated against Lin Gaoyuan how, 1, he'll quickly get back on the attack, and 2, how you have to watch every single ball. The French showman still up by 1 here with a big serve now.
He screams in delight, earns himself 2 game points, and this is not a position that Wang CHUQIN is used to being in. Certainly not this week. Hasn't dropped a single game. Will this be the first?
It's not a position he wants to be used to being in. The second 6 months of last year were definitely not the smoothest. They were testing, they were trying, and he comes back stronger. We'll see. 2 game points to the French showman, Simon GAUZY.
Well saved by Wang CHUQIN, performing really well under the pressure.
It's not easy with the variation in the spin game. Simon knows he's going to try and keep it funky and aggressive where he can.
Simon GAUZY celebrates as though he's won the match. 11 points to 9, offers up the hand by way of apology to Wang CHUQIN, but he will take that all day long. Simon GAUZY wraps up the opener, and that is the first game. The thoughts of Maria Sepsinos, who's watching this one.
Yeah, I've got to just take a moment there. I can barely hear myself think down here with the noise from the Chinese fans. This is the largest crowd I've seen here so far at the championships, and there is no doubt in who they are here to see. And what an opening game we were graced with there. Some incredible rallies, and GAUZY has come out here fighting, not afraid or fazed by the atmosphere, which is very much for Wang CHUQIN at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got hordes of fans screaming his name, and that's just a testament to how well GAUZY played to block out that noise and fully focus. It was a really impressive opening game for the Frenchman.
When you think back to his record against Chinese opponents, historically, the World Championships was where he made his first major dent on Team China. In 2019, he beat CHUQIN.
Wang CHUQIN to serve, love all.
Another left-hander who was actually holding up his entire half of the draw. He was the only Chinese man on his half of the bracket. And Simon GAUZY was the reason that there would not be a China-China final that year.
Let, love all.
Simon GAUZY is one win away from equaling his quarter-final finish from the World Championships finals in 2019. That was a career best for him.
It's the second time we've seen this jab. It's like he's scraping something off of a teppanyaki table, just coming under that, scooping. Very unconventional shot. 2 for 2. Keeping it awkward. It's amazing. Anders Lind did this to Wang CHUQIN. He said, you know what? I've got to make it uncomfortable. I've got to do something he's not familiar with. Even if it's weird for me, it's just going to help my chances. Simon GAUZY, one of the most creative players in the game.
Hey, oh, come on. 3 love.
And I think his percentages on the attack game also massively important. Pressure. We've seen Wang CHUQIN under pressure on many occasions. Started 2024 unstoppably.
1-3.
Good length there on the push. Something half long, but to keep Simon off the attack.
Well, you could see what the idea was from Wang CHUQIN, going for that big forehand, finding the net instead, and GAUZY playing out of his skin.
GAUZY right now is changing the rhythm very much. He's arcing it and spinning it. He's saying, I'm not going to try to hit it past you unless I think I have a good opportunity to do that. In the meantime, I'll just break your rhythm, and it's working.
Well, how can the second seed, the world number 2, find that rhythm that GAUZY is disrupting so effectively?
So it's a fine balance of being prepared, being in position, and staying loose, staying cool. Pressure adds tension to the muscles, and it makes it tougher for you to adapt. He's trying to shake it out there. Staying loose in this point. He's on top of every bounce, and Simon recognizes it, says, okay, see what I can do to change it up even more here. In the open rally, it's tough to exchange with Wang CHUQIN. He's got such powerful strokes. He spreads his feet so far. Now this is interesting. At the end of last game, Simon GAUZY was so thrilled to escape with the game that he celebrated hard and then turned and raised his hands for his fortune. Wang CHUQIN right here, quickly acknowledging. Quick turnaround after being down 0-3.
Let, for all.
Ooh, some instant table tennis karma, although I think a little bit more fortune for the Frenchman right now. Starts it off with the strawberry and the side spin. Sets up an uncomfortable ball, and then forcing himself to play heavy topspin from under the table. Simon gets a break.
it looked as though the defense of GAUZY was going to be impenetrable, but it was such a patient point from Wang CHUQIN.
That's a perfect description. This is a player who's got power but says, you know what, I'm not falling for your bait. I'm not falling into your trap. I've seen what happens when you try to crush these lobs or fishing shots, really. They're low and they've got a lot of topspin.
Let 5 all.
Taste of his own medicine out here. A slower spinning shot from Wang CHUQIN, a little more shallow on the table. See how uncomfortable that ball was. It bounced way inside the baseline. Simon GAUZY never really got a good look or opportunity in that point.
There was no coming back with that one. That was like a lightning fast shot past Wang CHUQIN's forehand side.
So quick on his feet, the legs. Look at Simon. Powered up again, statuesque, his calves like stone.
Wang CHUQIN's lead, short-lived indeed.
VIP seats enjoying the show here as Wang CHUQIN keeps himself level-headed. It's interesting with TTR here. Again, I've seen Wang CHUQIN challenge 2 service calls and be successful on both. And that's the pressure of Simon GAUZY. He gets in position, and while he's been burned twice in this match with inside-out forehands, he's just one step more central. And it allows him to reach this wide forehand. There's the side spin, and now the counter back. Wang CHUQIN took a risk.
綺麗だ。なんて綺麗なんだ。白だしだし巻き卵。
7-8.
We have to remember there's only one person seated higher than Wang CHUQIN, and he's at his debut World Championships. Oh, the backhand almost comes down, and he takes his chances. The rollers, the around the net shots that he's pulled off, but the balloon shots out here, the sky lobs, looking for a counter on both wings. Wang CHUQIN twiddles the racket so he can play the faster shot, because the red side of his racket is more of a trampoline than the tacky black side. That is common for Chinese players. You will see them turn the racket around when they don't need as much spin. They want more speed.
Let 9-7.
Good 2 points here, a bit of momentum for Wang CHUQIN, both on receive to take this lead. Now back with the serve, a chance to serve out the game.
Oh, he had to react so quickly to that. Bit of fortune for Simon GAUZY.
I think there are 2 IOUs in the pocket for Wang CHUQIN right now. I think it's about the 3rd time this game. That said, credit to Simon. This receive worked the first 2 times. The 3rd time, a bit of fortune on it, but 3 for 4 with outright points on that receive. And another awkward one. A fast, long serve comes in, and this is Truls-like, the way he takes this. Lifts the whole arm up like he doesn't have an elbow and just guides it awkwardly, leaving Wang CHUQIN little clue as to how much spin is on it. Coach Aurélien Puel in the corner for Simon. Server hasn't won one of the last 4 points. That's the first, and it sets up a game point.
Simon GAUZY has now taken 2 games off Wang CHUQIN. This is the biggest test he's had all week, and Simon GAUZY is fired up for this one. Takes the second, 11 points to 9. bit of a comeback for Wang CHUQIN in the closing stages, but GAUZY just powering past, and what a game for the Frenchman.
The last 4 points in a row. For the first time, a server had won the point. After 7-7, it was the last 2 in a row. Simon in a wonderful position, but it is far from over in this best of 7. He leads 2-0.
Au niveau de tes services, voilà. Il est venu plus sweeper en vert, donc là tu as le service long. Si quand tu sais qu'on est bien en vert, tu as le plat aussi que tu peux ressortir pour pas qu'il vienne sweeper trop fort.
Wang CHUQIN
un retour de service attentif sur
will
les longs.
shortly return once he's got a fresh shirt, but let's have a look at the top 16 seeds. Tomokazu Harimoto of Japan, the top or the highest seeded player to be knocked out. We have Alexis Lebrun of France withdrew from the singles as a precautionary measure. Gang Cho on the end of an upset by England's Tom Jarvis. Darko Jorgic knocked out to Germany's Benedikt Duda, he's gone. And Lin Gayan knocked out by Simon GAUZY.
Yeah, Darko Jorgic's match was incredible to watch. Match point, what a match really. Shunsuke Togami had beaten him about 4 out of the last 4 times in Bundesliga. Darko Jorgic had a match point. This is interesting. Fan Zhendong, Ma Long, I mean, the greats of the game have been in this situation, down and then a shirt change. It's right out of a movie, but you know what? If that's what it takes, no problem. A clean slate, a dry start, little conversation along the way. He needs a breath of fresh air as well. So, halfway there, Simon GAUZY, Wang CHUQIN might have just MIB'd any memory of the last 2 games.
Third game, Simon GAUZY to
We saw the fan vote earlier on overwhelmingly in favor of the world number 2. Do you think that the favorite now would be the Frenchman? He's halfway there.
Tough to say. I would say it's closer to 50-50 than it was at the start of the match, according to most predictions anyway. I mean, looking back at their head-to-head, yes, Wang CHUQIN is 3-0. The last time he dropped 2 games to Simon was 2019. But Simon's in some of the best form of his life. I just really, looking at the Anders Lind match, that was an unbelievable match. Lin Gaoyuan, quite entertaining, although with Simon it's always entertaining, win or lose. But there's just a determination about him now. And even this shot here, that strawberry sort of heavy spin backhand, he's taking it. He's not afraid to take his risks. He did that against CHUQIN in 2019. Wherever he was, he believed and he tried something new.
Former top 10 player, of course, ranked inside the top 10 back in 2018.
Yeah, Simon GAUZY's had his fair share of time being the leader for France before the Lebrun brothers came out of what appeared to be nowhere. Doesn't miss by much here. Just gonna say though that Simon was the leader without any challenge for quite some time, and then the question, being a strong third to medal in Paris last summer, was massive. France, table tennis is bigger in France than it's ever been right now.
2-3.
Good power here on the parallel. Lionheart finding whatever he can. Simon GAUZY trailing by 2 at the first towel break. Heavy spin on the first. And then again, an arcing shot more to the forehand. He plays a dangerous game, Wang CHUQIN. That said, Simon GAUZY, I feel like even more so because he knows that he has to. We're looking at the world number 43 receiving the world number 2.
Well, the shirt change seems to have done the trick. Wang CHUQIN galvanized now. This is the biggest lead he's had. He led by 1 point in game number 2 and was pegged back. Gets himself 3 ahead now.
Adding to that lead. Wang CHUQIN making the most. Seen some big comebacks over the years. Down 0-2, never easy. But when you're as strong as Wang CHUQIN mentally. Again, it was Simon GAUZY who said Wang CHUQIN would be his pick. From experience and tough times, yeah, he had about 6 months where I think he had a lot of questioning from Benjamin Faraji, Anders Lind, and some others. Anton Shelberry, who we'll see later on today. He's definitely tested, but this is the life of a professional athlete. Life isn't always pleasant, but getting through those tough times, coming back stronger, that's what he's known for. I think the fans weren't the only ones who thought the point was over here. Simon GAUZY testing the lights in the ceiling in the arena. Attempting that big backhand rip. This is smart play. When you've got the racket turned around on the other side, force him to play a shot that's uncomfortable.
Absolutely unbelievable turnaround for Wang CHUQIN. Well, I say unbelievable. Of course it's not unbelievable. He's the world #2, former world #1, but he looks like a completely different player from the opening 2 games as he earns himself 8 game points. Just like that, Wang CHUQIN gets his first game on the board, and he does so in dominant fashion, 11 points to 2. And it looks as though a dry shirt was all it took.
Well, we'll see if Simon GAUZY goes for a similar shirt change. In the meantime, Simon's a player who's wonderful from under the table. Able to mix up that spin, keep his opponent guessing. Outscoring his opponent in points, Wang CHUQIN 29 to the 24 of his opponent, but trailing in games 1-2.
Si on veut additionner et partir dans de bonnes conditions dans l'échange. Et après dans l'échange pareil, quand tu as attaqué, passe par le milieu régulièrement. Ok? Allez, on est devant. Hein. Allez, allez.
Fourth game, Wang CHUQIN to serve, love on.
Here we go then, Wang CHUQIN looks like he's found his flow. A dominant third game.
ダブの泡洗顔。毛穴より小さいマイクロ泡が汚れをしっかり落とす。製品中 40% 濃密美容液配合で一日中しっとり。ダブクリーミー泡洗顔料。
For me, that's what broke him into the top 10. He was always good behind the table, and he still is, but he's dangerous close. And it's that spin. Again, if you look at spin and speed and think you can't max out both different axes on this graph, that where you sacrifice speed, you have to make up for in spin, and that's exactly what he does. Looking for the snake. You want to see it come down. Beautiful touch. Drop shots aren't easy. Lin Gaoyuan, and most of the world knows it, but Lin Gaoyuan suffered trying several of them. 13 of the last 16 points for Wang CHUQIN. Catches his own side of the table on the way up. That right there might be the most impressive shot so far this match. Just lightning speed, steps around full commitment with a ball that's relatively low. It's just barely above net height, and it's way outside the backhand side of the table. Caught in between there. This is a ball that Simon sometimes will go around the net on. But it was just a bit risky, deep enough. Remember, the net extends about 6 inches, I believe, on both sides of the table, so it's not easy to hit it around the net.
1-5.
Wang Chuqin fired up and ready now. This is as expressive as we've seen him. It can't be easy for Simon Gauzy out there.
He didn't sign up for easy. As soon as he came to the table, he knew it would take something miraculous. This could probably be the best campaign to do laundry I've ever seen. Look at the score line. 7-1. One last game, 11-2. I might change shirts sometime this week.
7-2.
Probably the most noise I've heard from Wang Chuqin not winning a point in a while, sort of expressing himself the way many in this jersey would. The French jersey, that is.
That was a superb point for Simon Gauzy. He needed that, didn't he? He needed to get something on the board, and what a way to do it as well.
He made it look easy when it was anything but. A high ball to the forehand side where he opted for the backhand to avoid the obstacle of the table. And he just gets the ball back so quickly. Wang Chuqin is ready and recovered. This is efficiency, the timing, short stroke. His stance is so solid.
8-4.
Solid from Gauzy though. That's 2 really decent points in the last few. Do you think he's lacking in confidence a little bit now after the end of that third game? 11 points to 2. It can't be easy to come back from that.
Well, and the score line in this game definitely isn't the type of score line that would build confidence. Taking it point for point though, ignoring the scoreboard. Almost a save, at least it looked that way from this camera angle. That's tough. Smart placement as Wang Chuqin gets his opponent, Simon, to take the backhands from right in front of the elbow, way behind the table.
Well, he pounced on that lightning fast to earn himself 6 game points. Absolutely imperious from Wang Chuqin.
この部屋干しくっさ。
この古い肌着洗ったのに臭くてたまらん。
それならレノアクエン酸イン超消臭、蓄積匂いを剥がし取る。
新品匂い。
吸水力も蘇るクエン酸イン超消臭。
For the number 2 seed.
Three game points saved.
Timeout. You got to call a timeout here.
Timeout.
There it is. 4-10. I mean, for us, it's easy to imagine Wang Chuqin running away with this match with the score lines before. Simon fighting to get this one back. The reason I brought up the score line is while you could imagine Wang Chuqin running away with this, if Simone comes back and takes this game, he's up 3-1.
10-7.
What do you anticipate the conversation was between Wang Chuqin and his coach just there?
I think first it's going to be about breathing. I couldn't hear much of it. But just reminding yourself that you're the stronger player. You're undefeated. Think about how you started. Relax. Do what you do. Just another point. Simone from behind the table, unbelievable. As soon as he gets one baseline with heavy topspin, he turns this into a counter looping exchange. And Wang Chuqin looking for the short side to move Simone around. As someone who loves playing behind the table, I can tell you, it can be very effective. These balls that jump up and away from the net, forcing the opponent to take a ball from over their head or head height, about 5 to 10 feet behind the table.
9-10.
Well, this is absolutely stunning. Wang Chuqin 10-4 up, and now just a single point in it.
No, I didn't mention anything about tactics. You'd imagine Wang Hao talked a little bit of tactics as well. You said it, one more game point left for Wang Chuqin. And that's the one he escapes on. Simone set up one of the most deliverable backhands. He's made tougher shots, but actually, considering that he just saved 5 game points in a row, of course Simone is going to be kicking himself a bit here, but that's a breath of fresh air for a man in a relatively fresh shirt.
Well, let's catch our breath and head down to the field of play and join Maria. Maria, it looked as though the momentum was shifting back towards Wang Chuqin, but those 5 game points that he couldn't convert, it must have been crazy down there where you are with the fans.
Yeah, definitely down here. It is getting louder and louder. That slight momentum change that we saw on the table kind of caused the crowd to really get behind Wang Chuqin there, and the banners were getting higher and higher. Well, I've noticed Wang Chuqin has really stepped up his game, especially his forehand consistency on the table. He looks to be moving better around that corner and really stretching GAUZY to his limits on those wide angles. It will be very interesting to see how GAUZY can respond.
It will indeed. And Adam, how do you anticipate the Frenchman responding to this? Because he did incredibly well, saving those 5 match points, and then just couldn't quite get it done in the end.
5th game. Simon GAUZY to serve.
I should say.
Love on.
Yeah, I think he's going to stick to his tactics in many ways in terms of attack everything he can, fish if he has to, vary the spin, play the parallels, look for angles, and change the pace. I think they both have to remind themselves, right? It's like anybody else in life. You have to remind yourself why you should be thankful, what you've got going for you. This is a different Wang Chuqin. He's roaring out here. The lion is showing his heart. This is the most vocal I've seen him in years. He was a loud teenager, and he got benched after a racket toss, taken out of the game for some time, and came back quite a role model. Still is, but it's cool to see this fight in him. Some role reversal out here. Fishes down Simone.
木曜日はアゴダが安い金曜日もアゴダが安い週末もアゴダが安い毎日お得だアゴダ今すぐ予約
Chuqin right now, adrenaline through the veins.
How do you return a point like that? How do you even try to return a shot like that?
Well, we saw how you try. How to return it, tough to imagine. I think that's basically it. You just have to hope you can get around it and it curves back on, but nearly a perfect shot.
1-4.
He was down 4-10. He was down 6 game points last game. He won 5 in a row. He's only down 1-4 at this point. Oh, that one comes back quickly. A big full stroke like that is difficult to recover from. Sort of like when Simon was behind the table and Wang Chuqin had his racket twiddled for Simon to try and counter with his backhand. It was timing. He's saying, I want to catch you while your racket's backwards. Similarly here, I want to catch you before you've recovered from that big forehand stroke. Snake carries long. The break off the net. I still think he's got a few to cash in, a few IOUs. I love it. Truls Morgaard in Paris last summer, adding a lot of credibility to that shot, but Simon Gauzy's been doing it for a decade or more.
1-7.
Reminiscent of game 3 here. I think Wang Chuqin's being very smart about when to play sort of just an efficient shot, a counter. Ooh.
2-7.
Okay, seems to be fine. I looked down at the court immediately after Simon had a little misstep, it seemed. I'm gonna go back the other way.
7-3.
Seen some big comebacks out here on the main table. Gao Cheng-Wei against Truls Morgaard was down 3-8, I think, and came back to win a game. A lot of incredible matches so far this week already. This is to be added to the list. Oh, what a beautiful block. Covers the corner and gets it back to the open table. Simon at the second towel break, back within 4. Rarely does it come back. That full stroke forehand. He takes his chances with great success. Just this time, Simon, a defensive specialist, gets the best.
4-9.
Catching the edge of the table there, Wang Chuqin quickly acknowledging the fortune.
Well, we've seen this scoreline before, haven't we? 10 points to 4. That's exactly the same scoreline that we saw in the previous game. We remember what happened there. What kind of fight does Simon Gauzy have now?
Let's find out.
Well, no repeat of the last one where Simon Gauzy had to save all of those game points. Wang Chuqin wraps that up in a lot more straightforward fashion. 11 points to 4, and he is now a game away from sealing his place in the last 8.
Man, it's got to be tough. Thinking back to 9-10, the backhand that Simon earned. That said, he's played an incredible game to have the scoreline this match has right now. And at any given point, you could tear yourself to pieces, regretting something about the past, the ifs and what ifs. But the score is still being kept and the fight continues here.
Là, il démarre en vert. Quand tu vois son tour arriver, c'est important. Ouais, c'est ça. Et après, avec ton vert, par contre, s'il démarre, tout de suite là-bas.
Well, this is where the action is unfolding, the magnificent Lusail Arena. Sunset in Doha, the sun falling on this wonderful stadium hosting this table tennis world championships this week. Well, it might be sunset outside, but it is dark inside. All lights, the spotlight on table number 1. That's where all eyes are. That's where we're focusing. With Wang Chuqin 1 game away from a place in the quarterfinals. Beaten finalist 2 years ago. Was in trouble in the opening 2 games, but he's made quite some turnaround. And since that runner-up finish, he went on to claim 7 WTT singles titles. So clearly felt like he had a point to prove, maybe.
Let love all.
don't think Wang Chuqin loved the timing of that Zhongguo Dui Jiao. It was one person. I think the rest of the fans knew not to chant in the middle of the point.
Amazing balance from Wang Chuqin, leaning back at one point during that rally and did incredibly well to stay so focused and so strong.
Yeah, Simon GAUZY plays the ball. This one, no, the one before, was very shallow, brought him back in.
2-1.
But yeah, the in and out game, incredibly important to test the opponent's footwork. We have to remember, last game, 11-4. Anders Lind won 11-3 to set up a 3-2 lead over Simon GAUZY, and he came back to win 12-10 and 15-13 in the 7th. Different players. Scoreline-wise, though, remember, coach and player. These are two people who've spent a lot of time in classrooms analyzing opponents. It's just merciless. Both wings, Simon knows he's going to have to do what he can to keep the pressure on, and he does, but getting through the pressure, breaking through. Wang Chuqin. Those classrooms that I talk about are right after the World Cup. I think anyone who follows table tennis online has seen tons of Chinese social media about all the meetings that have been had. It looked like the knee brace might have came, the knee support might have come loose in that point. Timeout on Simon GAUZY's side.
Précision sur la première au milieu, pas de... Voilà, sinon c'est bien. Un retour de service. Pour soit le flip, c'est bien. Si tu flippes dans le revers, tout de suite tu te prépares en tirage. Si jamais tu es en top sur top, tu remarques qu'à chaque fois que tu repars sur la première, il la rajoute pas trop fort, il la raccroche court. Celle-là, essaye de te dire que tu lui mets un petit coup de pression à gauche. Hein, ça c'est important. Voilà, parce que là il assure comme ça et il la joue bien. Hein, il te fait reculer un petit peu avancé, il te fait re-reculer. Ah, mais voilà, les services, on prend des risques sur les services longs, on n'hésite pas, hein, même si on perd le point, c'est le jeu, il faut absolument faire. Et quand on sert court et qu'il est un petit peu en retard, on est prêt à être laissé pousser derrière. Et on retourne au baril. Une minute promise pour toi. Allez, c'est bien, allez.
Just listen to the noise inside this arena. 15,000 plus fans can fit inside here. It's not quite full, but the ones who are in here are making enough noise for double that number. Wang Chuqin is the name they're chanting. That's Wang Chuqin, who's less than a game away from a place in the last 8.
Beautiful receive after a fast, long serve. The faster it comes in, the less you need to do to the ball. Just takes it right off the bounce side and top spin to the wide forehand. Left-handed players love to turn the corner, and that's exactly what Wang Chuqin was trying to do, punished for his early move. It's that element of rock, paper, scissors where you have a sense of what's most likely to come. A little bit of anticipation well used. Looking for that baseline. Simon trying to stay close to the table. It's Wang Chuqin back in front by 1, and he's got the crowd quite into this one. Survives that extra bit of spin from the deep court. Had the table open, Wang Chuqin. But that's the pressure building, the short side of the table for a reason. Simon, that fight that keeps him alive. Bex, we can think about this. Spectators, we can enjoy and think about what if Simon GAUZY were to win this match. Beating CHUQIN was incredible. This isn't so far away. CHUQIN spent a good portion of his life around world #1, especially around those times. your game plan is to try and stay close to the table and you rely on your defense like this, it's frustrating when you're in position and miss a shot that feels like it wasn't really you taking much of a risk. Sha fans and Wang CHUQIN fans alike in the stadium watching on as Wang CHUQIN gets ever closer to the finish line here.
Oh, the solid defense of Simon GAUZY, that was impressive indeed.
I can feel how much spin he's putting on the ball, how he's pulling to really arc these shots. Constantly testing, plays this one on the backhand side of the table. There's an arc to it. There's an effort, muscle in the hustle from the French showman here. Just 2 points behind. Takes the right shot, but Wang CHUQIN keeps the pressure on, the heavy topspin in the rally. Forehand flick, one of the toughest shots in the game. You're trying to go to the short side right after. That ball comes down, it's gonna be tough. Speaking of tough, look at that face.
GAUZY showing that he really does still believe in this best of 7. He might have a long way to go, but producing shots like that shows how much heart he still has. He's still got fight in this match.
And another forehand flick, this one a little bit wider to the backhand, sets up a 1-point differential. No players have timeouts left. The comeback in game 4 was where Wang CHUQIN spent his, up 10-7. Oh, to the short side, untouchable. Simon goes parallel to continue. 3 points in a row. Simon GAUZY with a big chance, arc to the middle, and then comes in. Arm behind the head for this one as he pulls back. Oh, the facial expressions we're getting in this. It is getting gritty in here. As close as can be. The backhand, not quite the jabs that we saw early in this match. Wang CHUQIN getting right behind on the third ball.
These are going to be nervy moments now for Simon GAUZY. Big points coming up. Wang CHUQIN with the serves and closing in on this match.
As close as can be here, Simon GAUZY anticipates well, but even in position, the quality of this ball was so much that it's just too tough to counter back. Maybe to the length of the table. This is a man who says the job is not done yet. Keep your headband on. 2 match points, Wang CHUQIN.
Just look at the reaction. He is so fired up. Wang CHUQIN salutes his fans. He celebrates as he moves into the round of 8, the last 8, I should say, the quarterfinals. Wang CHUQIN surviving a scare from an incredible Simon GAUZY who took the opening 2 games, but Wang CHUQIN, after that shirt change, that seemed to be where it all started to click into place for the world number 2.
Do your laundry, folks. There it is, 2-9, 4-8. And that final point of this match, neither player left anything to regret in this point. They both took their chances. Simon GAUZY playing an outstanding match, and Wang CHUQIN doing what he does. Again, you could see what it meant to him. The finishing touch, the inside-out forehand, and Lionheart roars from the mountaintop to make it in to the quarterfinals.
Well, there's some jaw-dropping stuff indeed. Less than an hour on the clock for Wang CHUQIN.